Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million strategy roundtable for entrepreneurs. 1 million by 1 million, as you know, is the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. Our mission is to help 1 million entrepreneurs reach $1 million and beyond in annual revenue, build $1 trillion in global GDP and 10 million jobs. Today, we reach a community of over 500,000 people. These roundtables, this is the 480th session of our free mentoring roundtables. They're held every week, and it's been going on for a long time. We first started experimenting with this in the fall of 2008, and then launched the full-blown 1 million by 1 million program in 2010. So, 480 sessions is a lot of sessions. Over 150,000 people have participated in these from all over the world. And when I say all over the world, I'm not kidding. It's really all over the world. Every corner we've seen, representation from, all kinds of countries, including Africa, including Latin America, Asian countries. Of course, India is a very big geography from us, and of course, all corners of the United States and Europe. The event is being recorded. You will find every single roundtable recording on our YouTube channel, 1M1M Roundtables. It's a very good learning material. Right now, everybody has a lot of time because we're all working from home, no commute, no travel. So if you're an entrepreneur, or if you're an entrepreneur in the early stage of your journey and if you're looking to learn, this is a very good body of work that you can learn a lot from. Our philosophy is case study-based learning. And in these sessions, you basically get to experience a lot of the nuances of strategy. If you are following us on Twitter, you already know that we publish a lot of interesting content, enriching content. So if you're not following us, do. The handles are at 1M1M and at Stromana, either would do. If you're live tweeting today, use hashtag 1M1M. I will turn the line open for people to call in and participate. This is a roundtable, not a broadcast, but we do have some scheduled programming first. So, do think about what you want to talk about and use the public chat to interact in the meantime. We are going to start our conversation with Ritesh Agarwal, co-founder and managing director of CerraCap Ventures. Ritesh, welcome to the show.
Nice to be with you. Thank you.
So Ritesh, let's get you acquainted with our audience and discuss a bit of your background first, as well as some of the underpinnings of the CerraCap Ventures Fund.
Sure. So as I said, first of all, many thanks for inviting me for this great event. And I will give you a 2-minute background on who we are, what we do, and where we are in the journey, and what we intend to do from this standpoint. So we are 4 partners spread across the world, and we have been together for the last 20-25 years. And we all come from a hardcore techie background. I myself started back in 1995 in India as a software programmer, and did all my education and MBA from India, moved to US, started with Ernst & Young, and later joined Bank of America. And I was with very proud, I say I was in the C-suite for a while, and then left it, started joined a services company, which is now a $1 billion services company, and was responsible for starting their operations in Latin America. And during this whole journey, what we figured out is that technology in the early stages, it was supposed to be a support function. Then it became a main driver of the business. And then in some instances, in fact, it was driving the business. And I got an opportunity to work in the CVC, which is corporate venture. And that is where I learned the art of investment, exits, deal flow, and all that stuff. So all 4 of our partners have been working, as I said, last 20-25 years, started CerraCap in 2015, November of 2015. With the notion that we will fund the early stage companies. As I said, we all have the background in the technology. I specifically have worked in the AI space for a very long time, AI and blockchain for a very long time. and my other partners have been into cybersecurity and healthcare IT. So we started CerraCap, and we have done two funds. Fund one was a small fund of 5 million. Second fund is 50 million, which we are closing in next 1 week. And we have invested in roughly around 12 startups. And when we say startups, these are not early stage in the sense they are not in the concept stage, but they are seeds or seed plus, where they have a product or a POC, they have a team, they have an office, they have a way forward. And we specifically focus in only three domains: AI, cybersecurity, and healthcare. So this is where we are. As I said, closing the second fund, and then pretty soon we'll be starting our third fund around $120 million by the end of this year. Let's see how this COVID thing works out. But hopefully by end of this year or Q1 of next year, we'll start our third fund, $120 million.
So let me double click down on stage. You said you do seed and seed plus, and it sounds like you are doing relatively deep technology ventures. So when you are looking at companies, you want to see a product, you want to see a team. What else do you want to see by way of validation? Because, obviously these kinds of products take a little bit of money to build. So tell us a bit more about what and what are your assumptions about what has happened in that company's evolution before you come in.
Lovely. That's a very interesting question. So let me explain you how our due diligence process works, which is a little different than most of the VCs in our space. So what we do is there are two things that we do as a part of our due diligence. One is that definitely a team is very must. The credentials of CEO, CTO, or the C-suite is very must for us, and we do a lot of digging into it. And mostly at the stage where we are, it is through the referrals that we are getting a deal or a company to look for evaluation. Second is we have two things that we do. One is that we have a CIO consult. And as I said, our past history in the Fortune 500 companies. So we know many CIO, CTOs of the Fortune 500 companies that are part of our CIO consult. So what we do is, let's say a company comes to us, they have an AI product, we like it, we like the team, we like the concept, we like the way, whatever they have achieved, and they have path forward. We take that thing to our CIO council. Let's say, I'll just make up a Costco, right? And go to the Costco CIO and say, what, is this something that you will buy? So we have a buy-in from these guys who are the actual buyers of these products down the line. So they have already seen it. If they give us the positive feedback and they say, yeah, there is something that would be interesting, once they are able to achieve, this company is able to achieve XYZ, we would be very interested to see, give them the opportunity to launch their product in our company, and B, is down the line, if there is any possibility of M&A, we will do it. So that is one of the marker for us to make an investment. If CIOs are getting excited, they like the product, they like the story, they like the roadmap, definitely will go and go to the next steps. Second piece is that we always see what we can do for the company. So we are not in a spray and pray model where we go and invest in the companies, sit aside and say, what, out of 10, 2 will do wonders and that will basically pay off everybody. We are very much involved, and all four of us like doing that. So what we want to do is that if we are investing in a company, we want to see how we can scale up that company, how we can get them the purchase order, how we can get them to a point where the revenue is sustainable and they can run on it. So our whole goal is that if we are making the investment, we'll take care of your sale and scale. CEOs should focus on building the product, building the team, and building a culture, right? Rest all will help you as much as we can. And so far, out of these 12 companies, it has worked for us. 2 of our companies, which we invested in 2017, are on the way to become a unicorn. They are already at a $600 million valuation. We invested in them at a $5 million. So this strategy of ours of sales and scale and validating with the CIOs of Fortune 500 so far has worked very well for us.
Okay, good. So that's very specific. I'm going to ask you for a couple of more specific points on that. On what you've said so far. So you have a CIO panel. Do you also have a CISO panel, Chief Information Security Officer panel, that you check with when you do cybersecurity investments?
Primarily CIO panel, and if CIO feels that he needs to get his extended team involved, they basically refer to their ecosystem or their folks. But what we have right now is a CIO panel.
Okay. And within that, is there any sector-specific bias in your CIO network? Is it a retail or banking, or is there any kind of bias in that?
Almost all. Retail, as I said, definitely 3 domains. AI, we are calling it domain, but AI is not a domain, it's a technology, right?
Right.
AI could be in manufacturing, could be in healthcare. So AI is very generic, but on the healthcare side, absolutely. On the cybersecurity side, absolutely. Then we have some of the manufacturing side and the retail side. But if I were to say that, you know what, it does not matter what I have seen, is that what is the background of the CIO? The way they see the thing and the way they understand how the market is moving and how the products will be built and consumed in their domain, that is very helpful to us. So I can take a cybersecurity product to, let's say, Costco, right? It's a retail CIO, and I say, you know what, would you buy it? So cybersecurity has a big play in the Costco world, right? So they absolutely look into it, and that's where they get their CSO and all the team to look into the product if it's really interesting. So for us, we rather don't look at the domain, we look at what credential the CIO has and what kind of advice or help he can give it to us.
Well, it's very horizontal. Cybersecurity is extremely horizontal, so CIOs across domains would have relevance. And healthcare, I imagine if you have healthcare relationships, that's also very specific. But when it comes to AI can vary. You know, an AI product may be more applicable. Like in our portfolio, I can think of the top of my head, I can think of 3 or 4 products that have specificity. One is particularly interesting for banks. One is particularly interesting for people who are doing large-scale advertising campaigns and media buying, and this is an optimization for analytics and optimization for media buying for large advertising buys. So these are, these tend to be different types of use cases. So that's where my question about where your CIO relationships was coming from.
That's correct. So AI, absolutely, you are absolutely right. AI is, as a domain, could be a domain specific. So if you allow me, I'll spend a minute on explaining how the AI is working and what you see in the market versus what's behind the scenes story. And that will get my point across, that ultimately when you look at an AI company, there are 3 things that you need to look for. One is the team, right? The team has to be world class. AI is not something that can be built by C#.NET developers or anybody else. It has to be done by industry expert people, right? PhDs in the data science or PhD in human psychology and all that stuff, right? Second is the product that you are building. Ultimately, it is a function of where the data is, what kind of data are you going to process, and the function of, are you building a technology or are you building a product for an enterprise? If you are building a technology, then it's a different DNA altogether, right? If you are building or you are improving or enhancing a technology, AI technology is a different DNA. But if you are going for a market, for an enterprise, then what problem are you solving, right? And how much access you have in building the neural networks and how fast you can get it to the market, right? So those are the initial things that we look at. And I'm at a very high level. I'm telling you how I look at the things, right? Once you know it, then getting across to CIO for a particular domain, it's fairly easy for us because now we know that they have got the base right? Now, if they are in the healthcare or they are getting into the retail, connecting the dots and finding out whether that product would be applicable or not is fairly easy. But the first part is the most important and the toughest part to crack, what exactly these guys are doing in order to build an AI product and how much data they have.
So we're actually seeing very good AI companies and very good cybersecurity companies. In our portfolio, the stage that you're talking about, we have several, which is why I'm kind of digging down into, what dots to connect from our portfolio into your fund. We will talk offline and I will check with my portfolio and who wants to talk to you. But I think these connections are incredibly helpful and very specific connections. You don't need numerous connections, but a few really appropriate, relevant connections where there can be a product market fit checked very rapidly. And we already know in most of these, we already know there's product market fit. We need to get them in the hands of large enterprise buyers and go through the sales cycle. If that's something that is your expertise, we have a lot of things to discuss.
Would love to connect with your portfolio companies and see what we can do to help them out.
Fabulous. All right. So switching gears a little bit, tell us a bit about maybe a few companies. We've invested in 12 companies already. You're already starting to see a couple of them turn into unicorns. Maybe start with the two that are turning into unicorns and tell us where you encountered them, how you encountered them, what state were they in, what did you see in those companies that told you that, yes, this is going to go, and you wanted to write the check. So what I'm trying to get at is your thought process in thinking through investment opportunities.
Sure. So to answer this question, I will take you a step back, right? So the way how we get the deal source. So the first question that I would like to answer is that how we are getting to these deals where in 2 years or 3 years time, two companies are on the way to become a unicorn, right? So if you go and look at our website, CerraCap.com, and you go and look at board members, these are all industry leaders, not the leaders. They are the guys who are at the top of their domain, like John Cushman, chairman of the Cushman and Wakefield. President Vicente Fox, ex-president of Mexico, Yuval Goldman, who is the ex-director general of Israeli intelligence. These are few to tell, like other guys, Jeff Brown, who is running a multi-billion-dollar credit fund, right? All these guys, they have been with us for last, I would say, 7 to 8 years. And the deal flow mostly come through their channel, right? So as I said, mostly it is referral that we get. Second is this regarding the two companies that are on the way to become a unicorn. 1Mby1M is in the healthcare, and the second one is Deep Instinct, that is in the cybersecurity. So I'll go with Deep Instinct first. So Deep Instinct came out of 8200 unit of Mossad in Israel. And for us, before I go into details of the companies, it doesn't matter where the company is formed. What matters is that how can we get them into US? That's the other thing. The company that we are investing in has to have a US presence, even if they don't have it, but their product and their market penetration is going to be good and they go through a check. Ultimately, they have to move to US. So we have companies from UK, we have companies from Israel, we have companies from Singapore and US and Mexico for sure. So Deep Instinct, that's how we got connected through Yuval Goldman to this CEO of the company, Guy Caspi. And at that time, they were just coming out in 2017, I believe, they were coming out with the concept that, all the computers that are running in the world, they are fixing the problem of the known malwares. Nobody is fixing the problem of unknown malwares. So if I give it the perspective, right, COVID-19, it is something, this virus came in out of nowhere. Nobody had an idea that this is possible. Same thing for your computers, right? Unknown malwares, like what you are going to be hit with. I don't think there's any other company till date that can go and predict and say that this is the malware in making and this is the code for it. So this is the company that started with that concept, and initial valuation was $5 million, as I said, on the way to become a $500 million company in 3 years. And they have got OEM signed with HP, $120 million, 55 years. OEM signed with HP. That means all the HP computers will be preloaded with the Deep Instinct software. So, as I said, connecting the dots through our board members.
Was the HP deal already in place when you invested, or did that come later?
Sorry, say it again.
Was the HP deal already in place, or did that come later after you invested?
It was done last year.
No, when you invested, was the HP deal already in place?
No. They were starting to build the product. This was at the concept stage. They had a prototype. Okay. They showcased to us, and in fact, they ran it through. So I'll give you the story also. They ran it on a computer. We loved it. We took them to Walmart, and Walmart did a 60-day study on them, had them implemented their software on, at that time, prototype software on their laptops, some of the selected laptops, and they predicted that on what date they will be hit by a virus and what kind of virus. And that is how their journey started. So
Okay.
that was very early stage, $5 million valuation, 5 people in a room started the company back in Israel. And now, as I said, they have a US presence, very strong US presence. They have got almost, 30 clients. King's Food, HP are the big ones they have. They have a very good revenue, I think $25 million revenue right now that they're doing. So they're off the charts, right? And the question is, what is the next step that they're going to do? Is it going to be an IPO route, or it will be acquired by one large firm? Don't know yet, but this is where the details take that. Second one is the Vyom. Same thing with Vyom, right? Naveen Jain, who is the CEO and the chairman of the Vyom, good friend of ours. He has done very good. He was with Microsoft, worked with Bill Gates, got connected to us back in 2004, 2005. He has done multiple companies. He came up with this idea that, you know what, your gut, that is where the microbiomes are. And these microbiomes have a lot of information that nobody is looking into it. And invested them at around $5 or $6 million valuation, early stage. They came out of the Los Alamos, New Mexico. They got the technology from there, licensed it, and then they built a platform. There you go. If you go to Vyom, it's there on the Amazon. It's into B2B, B2C space. Their revenues around 17 million. They did the last round at $500 million. Lot of large known celebrity investors are there. So what they do basically is they take a test, stool test, and then they analyze your gut, and they tell you what kind of microbiomes you have. And based upon that, they give you the recommendation, what you should be eating, what you should not be eating. Like, let's say one food could be good for me, but might be a poison for you. But you must be eating because you think this is a healthy food, might not work. So, and now with this, in 4-year journey, they have become the largest data holder of your microbiome in the world. So it is something like comparable to 23andMe. They have DNA repository. These guys have microbiome repositories. And now they have signed, I think 2 weeks ago, they have signed a deal with GlaxoSmithKline in Japan to build a vaccine for some of the diseases using the microbiome data.
So they're doing both a diagnostic product and a data product. They're giving access to the pharmaceutical companies to their data to develop vaccines and drugs and so on and so forth.
Right.
And what is the go-to-market strategy of the diagnostic product?
So they are mostly into B2C space. So right now they're selling the kit on Amazon or through their website, and ultimately they want to go into B2B, more in the wellness side, where they go to, for the example, like Costco, Walmart, or any large firm, and say, you know what, why don't you have this thing as a part of your wellness program for your, or Bank of America for your employees, where they take this kit and then do a testing, and it's part of your wellness program. So that's their next step to go into.
So, but the B2C model is scaling.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, they're killing it.
Okay, cool. All right. So I have a couple of questions in the context of what you said so far. One is on geography. You said you want the companies to be here in the U.S., but they can be coming from anywhere in the world. Did I get that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And check size. What size checks do you write normally?
So our check size, so this is how we divide our fund or the investment that we are going to. The three categories. One is the growth capital, and that's where, you know what, the early investment that we are making, that goes from, you know what, 1 or 2 companies we have done 250, but now we are going with $500,000 minimum, and it could go up to 1.5, depending upon where these companies are. Second is our pro rata. We have a conscious effort, the companies that are doing good, down the line to not get hit by the liquidation. We want to maintain the pro rata, so we have X amount of money always ready for investment if a company does a round. And third one is that we have recently implemented is the bailout fund because keeping this COVID and all that nonsense going on, some of the companies will require bailout. It's not that the companies are bad. Is that you know what
Yeah,
startups
the
have
slow decision cycles.
yeah, 7 8 months, and if this thing happens so fast that no company can plan for it. So we have
Yeah.
taken bailout money, X amount of bailout money that we will definitely invest if a company requires that. So as I said, we are once we invest, we are with you, and we will take you to the your logical end, whether it's an IPO or it's a M&A.
Now, if the first check is 250K to 500K, um, and let's say you have a company that already has a product in some other low cost place, um, what is your appetite for handling the process of their coming to America? Because setting up shop in Silicon Valley or somewhere in America is a much more expensive process. Maybe they have managed to put together a team of 6, 7, 8 people in a low-cost destination, built a product, and maybe even have started getting validation. But taking on a U.S. operation is an expensive affair, and 250K to 500K is a small amount of money to take that on.
Yes. So I'll give you an example of like Deep Instinct or one company, Athena. Again, you can go to our website, serracap.com. Look at Athena. They started in Singapore. They have clients like Airbus, Rolex, Zara, PwC, Microsoft, right? Uh, Amazing company. Again, we invested around, I think, $3 or $4 million valuation. They just closed around at 50 million in 2.5 years, and they are into AI company, but they are into PIA space. So they look at the personal information or the confidential information using the AI B2B space.
Yeah.
Got them into US around 6 months ago. And the right timing when we go and we know this company is not in US, it's specific to a particular geography. We see what kind of clients they have and what is their traction.
Okay.
This
Fair enough. That was my question. We do see, because we are global, we see a lot of companies that are actually doing very good work in different geographies and will come into the U.S., but just kind of have to put one foot before the other and get stuff done before they take on the expense of coming into the U.S.
Absolutely. And for us, one checker that we have is that you have to have a channel partner relationship with one of the large companies in US like Microsoft, Google, or any of these companies. You need to have a channel partner relationship because ultimately these are the companies that will launch you in US and give the access to their clients. And that is the recipe for success.
I see. Interesting. Okay. That's a pretty high bar because it's not easy to do those channel partnerships either.
That is where we come in. Like if you have the real product and it's doing well and you have the traction, you have sustainable revenue, and you have done well in your own geography, we will connect the dots for you and take you to these places where we will help you to build or get the relationship done.
Yeah. So there may be beginnings of a channel partnership. It may not be fully fleshed out, but there are discussions and so forth. Yeah. Okay. Good. That gives us a good, window into what you're doing, and we definitely have companies that could be of interest to you. So we will connect those dots in due course. Now, thank you for your input. We are going to switch now to the entrepreneur pitch session. Folks, those of you who are pitching today or planning to pitch in one of the subsequent sessions, I just want to set some expectations. This is a safe working session. This is not Shark Tank. I don't have an audience to entertain. This is purely with the objective of understanding what strategic issues you're facing, and we are just going to work with you to, address those based on our experience and brainstorm with you on how you can put one foot before the other. If you disagree with my feedback or Ritesh's feedback, that's fine. It's your company. You will do what you want with your company. Just listen, because we do have experience and we share what we share with you based on that experience. One thing you must take note of is that not all businesses can raise money. Not all businesses should raise money. Raising money does not guarantee success. So don't without understanding what are the nuances of your business, don't single-mindedly chase investment that may not be the right strategy for you right away. We are going to start with Abhyuday Das and Krishna Yogi. Your company is Ecoin, the crypto for everyone. Tell us what you're doing.
Hey, hi, Smrana and Ritesh. Ritesh, that was an excellent overview of what you're doing, and I think I got a fair understanding of how VCs think and that sort of thing. I hope that you can give us great feedback on what we are doing. This is probably not related to you because this is in blockchain and cryptocurrency. But obviously, as an investor and VC and Mitra, you have seen a lot of things. So I'm obviously looking for that sort of feedback. Yeah. So my name is Krishna Yogi, and I'm the CEO and founder. And we have Abhyuday, who is our chief business officer. So my background is basically I'm a data scientist with over 10 years of experience, and last 4 or 5 years I've been dabbling in cryptocurrency, and I have a lot of passion towards crypto and blockchain. So my previous startup is into blockchain as well. That is about preventing certificate fraud, which is a common theme in developing countries because it's far more often happens here. We built a product and the product is still running, but unfortunately the traction wasn't there. So I had to quit that, and I worked for a data science company, and then I started Ecoin on the side for the last year, but last 1 month we've seen real traction. So this slide is slightly older. We now have about 2.34 million users in the last 30-40 days. So our goal here, as it says in the logo, we want to bring crypto to everyone. We believe this is the biggest problem of crypto. So if you've been in crypto, there are like coins like Bitcoin and Ethereum, and there are like 1,000 scams. But the point is, there are 1,000 scams, right? Sorry, I think the video is not on. Okay, sorry guys. So the problem is, the technology behind Bitcoin or all these cryptos and the impact that can have on the economy is tremendous. Personally, we in the space believe that this is the next internet. In fact, I personally believe, and many other people believe, that it can be 10x the internet's impact on society. Because think of somebody in Africa.
Just do what you are doing.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, so our goal here is basically mass adoption. The one thing that is missing in crypto is mass adoption. We have wonderful technologies, platforms, and everything, but the problem is mass adoption, and we are aiming for that in a very interesting and unique way. As you can see here, the problem with traditional crypto is that you need to have expensive mining, or you have to invest in risky ICOs, which are both very risky for an average user, which immediately puts off like 99.9% of users, right? And the last 1 year, industry has realized this and gone the route of airdrops, wherein they give you a little bit of airdrop for signing up, but then the problem of civil attack comes, wherein a single person can create multiple accounts. So to prevent that, they've come up with hard KYCs like driving license, passport, etc., etc. Because of the friction that is there, users expect at least $25 to $30 as a remuneration for getting into the airdrop, right? So what we have developed, next slide, yeah. Can we have the next slide? So what we have developed essentially is basically world's first email-based proxy identity, which has an effectiveness of around 60 to 70%. And we supplement this by simpler things like, a phone validation in certain geographies. So it's basically, it's the way it works is we have email, phone number, IP address, cookie tracking, fingerprinting. Using all these things, we are able to, uniquely ensure that a person cannot take our airdrop more than once with certain amount of confidence, right? And because it just doesn't take any KYC, right? The onboarding process is extremely smooth compared to any other airdrop out there. And that we think is the key for our success. Like I said, we have acquired almost 2 million users in, just 40 days. And we barely spent anything. We probably spent like $2,000-3,000 in marketing, all right? And because of this rapid growth, now, I'm personally very excited. Our team is excited. Okay, can we get the next slide? And so like we said, right? So because of this, the growth has been tremendous, and the network effects are kicking in. If you go to YouTube and like type Ecoin today, you'll see like 500,000 videos and talking about Ecoin, stuff like that. And, we can go to the next slide. Yeah. So because of this whole network effect that are kicking in, a lot of partners want to work with us now compared to, any other crypto out there. And the philosophy of Ecoin from the day one has been that every move that we make has to be super easy for the user, so that, an average guy or girl in Africa or India or Southeast Asia can actually onboard to crypto, right? And so this is our claim to fame. We have the world's simplest. Sorry?
Krishna, what is the business model? What is the business?
Okay, so the business model is basically, it's not your traditional business model in the sense that if you're looking at Bitcoin, right? What is the business model of Bitcoin? Bitcoin is basically a frictionless currency. And because of that frictionless currency and the liquidity that it can generate, it locks up value in the ecosystem, right? And similarly, any crypto out there is essentially doing pretty much the same, okay? It's a question of who has the highest network effect and who can lock up the liquidity that is transferring through the network. And because of that, it has certain value, right? So in that sense, it's not traditional business value. It's about how much value you can lock into the system, right? Like think of somebody like a lender or a business or bank, right? It takes that cut for the interest between 2-3 days or something like that, right? It's a different business model. Now coming back to Ecoin itself, right? So because of this frictionless onboarding, we are seeing millions and millions of people join our platform. And because of that, there are other side effect, network effects, like multiple businesses wanting to partner with us, multiple blockchain networks that want to work with us, and so on, right? And this has been going like a pretty good pace now. And we are now focusing on the other side effects and other things. So this is all very old. These are all.
It's still not clear to me, how do you make money? You have to make money. If you want to be a business, you have to make money somehow. What is that business model?
I think I can't.
Hold on. Listen to my questions and try to answer them. Are you a channel for other cryptocurrencies to acquire users?
We are developing it as a side business. Yeah, we are, because of our success, people are coming to us. But the core way we make money is essentially we have about 50% of the token share with us, right? The rest is being given as an airdrop. So once the value of the token goes up, we'll start, let's say selling a little bit of token or keep it with us. So that's where the real value comes in. Does that answer your question?
Sort of. Okay, so what's your question?
Yeah,
what's your question?
It's not a traditional business. This is not a traditional business. Blockchain businesses are not traditional business. Anyway, so going to the roadmap, we've already met our first pipeline, milestone of 1 million users. In the next couple of months, we are looking at 10 million users. We just got a deal with Kilo's Foundation. They are happy to give us about 10 million free accounts, which are worth about $50. So by that, what happens is our users will have the world's most simplest crypto experience, wherein they never have to pay for an account, they never have to pay for transactions, they never have to pay for anything else. So and they have an account name, which is a big thing in crypto. So typically, if you have used Bitcoin ever, you would have seen that junky, public key sort of thing, right? Whereas with Kilo, it doesn't happen, and then that's our philosophy. So essentially, you have a genuine normal guy using crypto for the first time. That's the dream of the industry, and I hope that we are able to take the industry there. Okay, and we're also, in the milestones and the roadmap, we have a bunch of merchant partnerships. Essentially, okay, the reason why people want to use crypto is essentially it cuts down the processing fee dramatically. All right, so if you're looking at a credit card, it typically charges 3%, right? But whereas with the crypto, it can come down to pennies. That's where the real value out of a cryptocurrency network comes in. because of that, and there are like 100 reasons which we can talk about later, it's just like writing on the wall, right? Like when internet started, nobody thought internet was going to be a big thing. But now obviously, it's like that.
Krishna, what brings you here?
The reason why we are is basically, to chat with people like you and get your opinion of, how this can become better, and probably some sort of investment.
I'm used to looking at pitches. I'm sure Ritesh is used to looking at pitches all the time. And first and foremost, the question that I want answered is, if you call yourself a business, how are you making money? How are you monetizing? And I haven't got a satisfactory answer to that question. But you don't need to answer that question right now. I'm going to turn it over to Ritesh and have him ask the question or give you his opinion. Go ahead, Ritesh.
Thank you. So first of all, Krishna, fantastic, right? I think what you're trying to do is a game changer. I wish you all the luck and best wishes.
Thank you.
Question I have, again, crypto is a very wild west right now.
Sure.
So at CerraCap, back in 2018, 2019, we said we'll go big on crypto, and in fact, we had a couple of companies that we were very interested in. God is great. With the grace of God, I think we never invested in crypto, and today we know what's going on. But my question to you is absolutely what Sarna is asking. What is your path to the success? How you're going to monetize all these things? Second is that what is your burn rate, current burn rate? And third is that who's financing your operations now? And
sorry, last question.
Who's financing your operation? Is it you, your family, friends, or you have got an investor with you? How you are doing it? And what is your exit path? And how much time it will take for you to exit?
Okay, those are all very valid questions, right? So first thing, how do we make money? So for the last 1 month, the only way we thought of making money was selling tokens, right? Because there are investors out there, just like think of this, right? So Bitcoin, if you've invested in 2010, and now you're looking at like a million X, right? But with Ecoin, we're not telling it's million X, but it can be like 100X. That's what we are saying, because the network can grow really fast. And if you've invested, at X, right, you would probably look at 100X in 3-4 years. That's what the story is, because we can grow rapidly. We can spread to 1 billion users if things go well really quickly. And because of that, the token is limited in number and the value is going to rise up. So essentially, the main money, the big bulk of money that we make if Ecoin goes really big is through the tokens. So I'm holding a bunch of tokens myself, and all the co-founders and people who are interested in the project are also holding a bunch of tokens, hoping that the value is going to go up, right? That's the main way of making money. And any investor
hold that thought for a second. How do you finance your operations?
I'm coming there. Yeah. So essentially, any investor who wants to invest in Ecoin has to look at that, because that's the big 100X sort of return that we're looking at, right? So in terms of operations, we have very low burn rate, because we hardly have like 3 developers, me and a business guy, marketing guy, Abhyuday. So we are the only guys who actually burn the, sort of money. You can say the burn rate is around like as low as $5,000 per month. Okay. So it's very low. And I have, in terms of the funding part, it's been me so far that has put in, because I have been saving up through my last jobs and that sort of thing. In terms of revenue, we've already started making revenue. So last month we made about $5,000 in our token sales. This month we are looking at least $25,000 to $50,000, because like I said, we have a bunch of partners who want to use our platform to the airdrop. So we are charging about $10,000 for that, right? That's one revenue stream. And apart from that, we're also integrating with a bunch of exchanges, right? So what happens is essentially the liquidity improves, and then we can start selling tokens at the rate of 10 to 15,000 or higher, depending on the price and everything. So essentially that becomes an additional revenue source as well. And in 2 months' time, we intend to go to US and get the SEC approval. We have the path laid out for that. When that happens, you're essentially opening the gates for the big investors who are token investors from US and all that. So like I said, these are the main parts. And obviously, we might come up with.
So your game plan is to finance your operations by doing a token arbitrage on one hand, and the other is basically marketing for other crypto exchanges who want to access your user base, basically.
Launchpad, yeah. We call it airdrop launchpad.
Fair enough. That would work. Remember, that's the first question I asked you is how are you going to generate cash? Are you a marketing channel? And that's your answer. You came to that answer, 20 minutes later, but the answer should have been yes.
That's not our main revenue model, right?
Doesn't matter. You will not get to your main revenue model unless you have an interim revenue model that keeps you alive. You have to stay alive to succeed.
I learned the lesson very hard. I learned the lesson only now, and I'm happy that I learned it. Yeah.
My only advice to you is that I think you mentioned that you want to come to US and do SEC approval. Definitely look at that strategy. Getting the approval at SEC is not easy and it's very expensive. You have to hire the local lawyers. It's very expensive, right? Try other country first before coming to US. And once you come to US and do the SEC approval, then there's nothing left for you. There's no shade of gray in your business anymore. Your hat is all black and white. And then you have to really think through how you're going to make money. Because right now you can play in this paradigm anywhere you want because nothing is regulated. This is the wild, wild west. The day you get the SEC approval, it is expensive, time consuming. You get it, it's all black and white.
Yes. Okay, that's great.
And that's actually very important feedback that Ritesh just gave you. If I were you, I would not go for SEC approval right now. Nothing is stopping you from building your business. Nothing is stopping you from generating money to keep your business alive. Nothing is stopping you from generating millions of customers or millions of users who are appreciating your token value. Why would you want to create, roadblocks on your way to hinder that growth? I wouldn't.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. I understand that. Yeah, thank you for that.
And hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just wanted to get your feedback about our partnership actually that we are trying to make with the merchants sign up list onboarding. What's your view on that? Because that's also one of the utility we are trying to make.
Yeah. Actually, I think I didn't explain the sign up list onboarding. Just like 1 minute, I'll explain what it is. Basically, because we are using just email in most of the cases for onboarding users, right? So we can actually offer a discount, for a user in the checkout page if the user is ready to take the Ecoin route, and that is basically the game changer in terms of crypto adoption. Because like until now, if you wanted to make a crypto payment, all you need to have the user download the wallet and get the crypto and then make the payment. But we've already partnering with a couple of media companies who have the global ambition, right? Basically, that's the key there. They have a global ambition, so we can actually offer the discount to them at the checkout process, and the user simply has to enter OTP. And then they get an immediate discount, and because of that, they've become our user, right? And then the chain continues basically. Yeah.
So what was the question? I didn't understand the question.
So I think the question is
Yeah, like I just wanted to get your feedback on how it can goes up, and what do you think? What is the possibility of going forward with this strategy to make the utility?
Make what?
Basically, to create the utility for the token.
Question. His voice is not clear. So, what do you think of this process? So, would you be interested in getting the $2-3 discount and sign up on the Ecoin when you're shopping at, let's say, Costco, which seems to be Ritesh's favorite merchant?
Right. So it doesn't matter. Would I be interested or not? I don't do crypto, so that's not important. The most important thing that you have there is that 1 million number. In March of 2020, you have 1 million users. That means there are people who are interested in your product, and that's much more important than whether I'm interested. So that is your real answer. And if you can, that's why you don't want to create roadblocks on your way of SEC and this and that. If you think that your network effect is that strong that by May you get to 10 million and by September you get to 100 million and December you get to 500 million, you don't need all this nonsense. And you certainly don't need me. to buy your product. You may need me to give you advice, but you don't need me to use your system.
No, you're not buying the product. You are the product, actually. If you can use the system, right?
I mean, I'm just using an analogy of I'm not going to sign up to do this. Whether I am not the product. I'm not going to sign up for this because I don't do this. But you don't need me to do this. You have people who are interested in doing it.
Yeah, I'm an average person on the street, right? Like anybody can't resist the temptation of getting a $2 discount by signing up on some site and putting the OTP, right? So that's the point here. Yeah.
So one day you will come to users like me who are not early adopters of crypto through Costco, perhaps. Costco will say that, I have a crypto program and this is what you could do with that. Then I will talk to you, or I will talk to Costco, not to you. And you may be the empowering that, but I'm not your target audience at the moment. I'm not an early adopter of crypto at all.
Let's hope for that. Let's hope for the day. That is the dream of every crypto enthusiast in the world like me, right? That's the dream. That's the dream that
but in the meantime, don't waste your time on me. Go for the ones who are much more ready to work with you.
All right.
All right, good. Very good discussion. Extremely interesting. Good luck.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, these are all certain things, whatever. Just going to.
We'll move to the next presenter.
Thank you.
Zoe, you are up next.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you fine.
Wonderful. All right, so my name is Zoe Frantzeskakis. I'm a student at Michigan State University. I'm studying finance and hospitality business. I also have a minor in real estate investment. Currently, right now, we are in East Lansing because, we go to Michigan State. My other partner, who is the CEO, is Roger Malcolm. He's studying mechanical engineering at Michigan State. And our CTO actually is a Michigan State alum. He studied computer science, and he is now a software developer at Quicken Loans. So our company is called Deep Heart Discount. We have 3 problems that we're trying to solve here. When customers use short-term rentals to travel, when customers use short-term rentals to travel, their main complaint is not knowing what to do when they arrive. It was actually one of the top 6 complaints that Airbnb got. The second problem is that customers are looking for a great price when choosing a place to stay, and afterwards that they do want to do something. And the third problem is that the coronavirus is causing these short-term rental owners to lose a lot of money. And there will be mass competition post-pandemic. And also a lot of these rental owners are considering going into long-term rentals because, apartment complexes are suffering in terms of collecting money, but they're not, they're still getting an influx of people who are willing to live there. So if you could go to the next slide, please. Thank you. So to solve the first problem, we have a mobile application that offers users digital discounts at local establishments when staying in short-term rentals. Essentially how it works is when you book with the short-term rental, it tells you that host works with Deep Heart Discount. And ultimately, that guest then knows that it will also come with a lot of digital discounts where they are going to be staying if they choose that property. We are going to solve this by using business partnerships. So we're working with not only the hosts, but also the local establishments. We're going more for the mom and pop shops, less of the Applebee's, and then also commissions. So we actually
Stop. Let's understand what's going on here. So your problem statement that short-term rentals that's normally monetized through Airbnb or other vacation rental sites are right now hurting because of coronavirus, and there are, however, people who are willing to do long-term rental deals with these property owners. That's the problem statement you are trying to address, yeah?
The problem statement is more of the fact that there's a lot of competition within short-term rentals, whether you decide to select one property versus another. We're trying to give an edge up on the property that decides to work with Deep Heart Discount. Deep Heart Discount will give that host access to tons of digital discounts, and that allows the guest to want to book with that property versus just a basic property where they're not given those local digital discounts. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Sorry.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great.
Okay, all right. So one other thing that we did is we joined a Facebook page with over 30,000 hosts all over the country, and one thing that made them want to do this is commission. We are working with restaurants who seem extremely interested in this concept, and the restaurants would give them commission. They also have thought that the commission is something they're very doable with. So market size. So leisure travel is on average 148.3 million travel bookings made each year. And then we're looking at vacation rental segment, which is 61.3 million users. So these are people who are booking with, the Airbnb versus a hotel. So our target market is then 1.8 million short-term rentals in the United States. So that is really our market size. If you go to the next, okay, wonderful. So we have two options. One is freemium. Part of being a new company is launching something that gets people's foot in the door. This is a freemium aspect of it. So these guests, so if the host signs up for the freemium model, the guests will then, when they book through the site, they book that one property that uses freemium. That guest will be able to use one discount in each category, and I'll go through the categories later on. But so it's a free service. It just gives the guests and the hosts just a little glimpse of what to expect if they were to do the premium. So the premium is $10 a month per rental property, and they can access every discount, and they can access every category. Can you go to the next slide, please? So our business model, the most important part, how we're going to make money. So users register 1 million properties on our platform. That's our goal. So 1 out of the 1.8 million. This is also, I want to clarify, this is based off of properties, not on hosts. One host can have 5 properties. We're not charging the one host $10. We're charging each property $10 per month. So it would be $120 per property subscription each year. So that's the 10 times 12. And that leads to, we can also make other revenue through additional advertising. So that's, kind of getting those, to be able to the top of the list or have it show up as like a little promo. And then the minimum of $120 million annually, that just comes from the subscriptions. It does not include the advertising that business can pay for. If you go to the next slide.
How are you going to acquire these customers? Do you have any validation that these short-term rental hosts are willing to sign up for this? Do you have something that they can start with already, or is it all concept stage right now?
Absolutely. So we actually have a working prototype. So the first thing that we did was kind of get a little bit of data research. It is challenging just because of the times. However, we joined that Facebook page. It has over 30,000 hosts. They were all really interested in the idea. We actually had an ex-NFL football player who owns 2 properties in Houston. He was extremely interested in our idea. He actually personally messaged us and asked if one of the first places we can launch is Houston. So with that being said, we do have traction from people. The second thing is that we do have a working prototype. This idea has been very new. It kind of came to us during this this pandemic. In the next slide, we do have pictures of the product. Maybe if you can go to that side, that would be great.
No, I'm not going to go to the product. I'm more interested in whether this business model is going to work or not, and I'm going to brainstorm with Ritesh and you a little bit on what is the viability. So there is a customer acquisition issue that is quite a challenge here. You're per host, or not per host, per property, you're making $120 a year, right? Roughly.
Yes.
And that means you have to acquire that customer, that host profitably. How are you going to do that is a giant question that looms. And it's not an easy question. You better address this question, really decisively, otherwise you don't have a business. Because I'm not convinced that people are going to install your app. Large numbers of consumers are going to install your app to get a little discount. People's smartphones are really crowded. They don't like to install. If you ask me to install a bunch of apps, I'm going to say, no, thank you. I don't need your discount. Go away. So that's not an option. You have to, there are 2 issues that I'm pointing you to. One is this. Installing yet another app is a roadblock. Second thing is acquiring these hosts that only pay $120 a year profitably is a real challenge. So let me hear what Ritesh has to say, but those are two of my big concerns right away.
No, thank you. Absolutely. And I would like to add. So first of all, Joy, I think at least you think about these issues, right? That there is a cap in the short-term rental market. So kudos to you for thinking through about the gaps in that market.
Thank you.
Question is, I'm not very clear. Are you guys full-time on it or you're doing part-time?
As of right now, we are full-time because of the situation. Like I said, this idea is brand new. I mean, it doesn't get more new than this. So we have really been dedicating all of our time to it. When the school year starts, that's something that we will have to, kind of reevaluate and see, what our plans are. However, Roger and I are both extremely dedicated to this, so if it means that we need to go on this full time, then that is something we're willing to do, so, I think it's more about dedication than time. If you can dedicate yourself to doing it, then, sky's the limit. But if you don't, then obviously, it's going to show. So, did that answer your question?
Absolutely, Joy. And I like your energy. I like your passion and energy both. I can sense it.
Thank you.
My next question is that, you know what, all these concepts, basically you could be in B2C market or you could be in B2B2C market, right? All
Right.
these concepts requires a lot of money, as Aruna said, right? This is a money-sucking business, right? So you try whether it's $120 or $200 or $1,000 or $20. You will need a lot of cash in order to build this business. Forget about running. Growth in this kind of business, you will become the victim of your own growth. So my only suggestion would be, you are in the early stages, try your luck and see what market is telling you, what your customers are telling you, what your well-wishers are telling you. Do not spend too much your own money. Try to raise it from the market and see if 2 or 3 VCs, you can form a syndicate of 2 or 3 VCs that keep on funding you in your journey to reach a point where you have the momentum, right? To create a momentum, you would need a lot of money to run, right? So right now, if you come to me and say, I need $500,000, I would say, get at least 5 million from somebody else. I'll put 1 million into you, right? So you have to find that 1 or 2 VCs or the.
Ritesh,
Nice.
can I address something that you're saying? And
Sure.
I think I'm hearing you say that this is not viable. For somebody who doesn't have a track record, cannot do a B2C business that requires that much capital. It just doesn't work. Nobody's going to write you checks to do this business. The only way it would work is if you can bootstrap your way to huge traction, then people are going to write you checks. So investors are willing to come to the rescue of victory in that scenario. On a concept, there is no way of raising money on this one. I don't believe you can raise money on this one.
So I definitely see what you're saying, but, it kind of goes to the fact of you need money to raise money. So it's like, where is that base point, So this is
Zoe, this is why I don't want you to waste a lot of time on this. You are young, you're clearly extremely bright, and you have a team of extremely bright people. You do not want to sink a lot of your time, energy, and personal cash into something that is most likely going to fail. The probability of failure of this business is extremely high.
Yeah, I do appreciate, your advice. Unfortunately, I find it less constructive and a little bit more insulting. I think that ultimately we do have investment offers. We have a lot of people who are interested. One of the people actually owns several hotel businesses, and even he said it was a wonderful idea. We've already raised $5,000 just from friends and family who believe in us. And in order to put this application out there and have a legal team and a marketing team, from our projections and actually talking to developers, it was only $90,000. So, I don't think it's as much as, in the future, obviously we'll need to do, maintenance and security and keeping up with it. But as of right now, we're not asking for, $1 million. It's rather small. And like I said, we've talked to many people who have thought it was a great idea. We've actually reached out to Airbnb who thought it was a great idea. We've talked to some executives there. So, we are working all angles from this. I appreciate your opinion, but, I think that we've talked to other people who maybe have a different one.
Right. So remember what I said in the beginning of this conversation? You are most welcome to discard whatever feedback you get here. It's your venture, it's your life. You're going to make whatever decision you want to make. It is not my intent to insult you. My intent is to, however, give you feedback based on my experience, and my guests on the show also give you feedback on their experience. So you can discard the feedback as much as you want, and that is perfectly fine. So good luck. I hope it works. My job is to give you feedback that I think is appropriate for your business, and it is your prerogative to discard that feedback.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Ritesh, I know you need to go, right?
I need to go now.
Thank you for. We'll connect afterwards.
Sure. Take care, please. Good luck.
Bye-bye. Folks, I'm going to explain to you a bit about how to use 1 million by 1 million if you choose to do so. Before I do that, let me also say that if you like what we do, and what we do is direct, unsugar-coated feedback. So if you feel insulted and defensive about that feedback, this is not the right place for you, because I will give you unsugar-coated feedback based on my experience and my understanding of this industry, which most likely is considerably higher than yours if you're a first-time entrepreneur doing this, without any experience before. So it is perfectly fine for you to go seek help elsewhere. Please stay and work with me only if you think that you can handle the kind of feedback and the kind of, constructive criticism, but it's essentially criticism that you're going to need to have to take in stride. So everything we do is at 1Mby1M.com. All the resources are there. You will find a terrific blog that you will learn just by reading the blog. It's a free service, free content. The Entrepreneur Journeys book series is on Amazon. We have 12 volumes of case study-based books. You can use those to learn what you need to learn, and that's a good starting point as well. There are 12 to 15 case studies in each. These roundtables happen every week, and the recordings are all available. You're welcome to use them. The full acceleration program from 1 million by 1 million is 1M by 1M Premium, and you will get extensive methodology guidance. The curriculum, the digital curriculum is available there. You will get help with business development. You will get help with strategy consulting. Similar sessions like these, but they're private members-only sessions. And we do handle for financing. We have a very strong network of investors whom we work with. And, if you are ready for financing, not everybody is ready for financing. In my judgment, the presentation that I saw from Zoe is not at all ready for financing. I don't believe that I can get it financed in my network. She believes she can get it financed, but I don't believe I can get it financed in my network of investors. So I will tell you that. If that's your situation, I will tell you that. But if I think that you can get to fundability, I will work with you, and we will get to that point, and then I will introduce you to the investors. So that's how 1M works. Go to the self-assessment. Try to answer the questions on the self-assessment and see if you can answer these points. The free tool on our website. These are questions that investors would ask you. See if you can answer those questions. If you get stuck, do the digital curriculum from 1 million by 1 million. It's available as 1M by 1M Basic, our curriculum-only option that will help you learn. The first-time entrepreneur's journey is a lot of learning curve. And that learning curve is something that you're going to have to figure out a way to cross. So figure out a way to learn. Whether it's 1 million by 1 million or something else, you're going to need to learn. On our website, there is plenty of information. Dig around, see if this is the right program for you. There are FAQs, video FAQs, description of the curriculum. We are a case study-based program. You do get to hear from successful entrepreneurs in our Entrepreneur Journeys series. We have tons of case studies, including 100+ unicorns, 400+ venture-funded companies, another 400+ bootstrap companies. And you're going to need to take lessons from their trenches and incorporate those into your strategy. That's how we teach this program. Our methodology is lean, capital efficient, bootstrap startups. If you come and tell me that on a concept you need a lot of funding, I would tell you that no, you're going to need to bootstrap your way to a certain amount of validation, even traction, before you can raise money, which is why the discussion we had earlier with Ritesh was so much focused on check size, stage, what do you need to see in a deal. And we have hundreds of interviews like that with investors where we go through that process and understand what their requirements are. So that's pretty much it. We have 3 more roundtables in April. We have roundtables all of May, all of June. So we are working, through all this coronavirus craze. We are working, and you are very welcome to come and work with us in these sessions. These are safe working sessions. We also have online rendezvous every Tuesday morning. That's another touch point through which you can connect with me. That's live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. That's Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. Pacific time. And that's it. If you have questions, I will be happy to answer questions. If not, we are going to move on and go to our next meeting. Mehmet, you have a question, you can dial in if you like, or I guess you have asked a question. What do you think about failure capital? I don't understand this question. What is the meaning? What is the question of what do you think about failure capital means what? Can you explain? Krishna, do you want to talk more? You may have dialed out. I don't.
I don't.
Are you still on the line?
I am.
Who is this?
Your panelist. Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Hi. I can hear now. I can speak now. Yeah. I was. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I think the program is interesting. I'm going to have a look at that and then take it from there. Yeah.
All right. Very good.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Is there anything else?
You're welcome. No, that's it. You're done.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Mehmet Koka, I don't understand your failure capital question. You are typing in questions in the Q&A. I don't know what that means. Failure capital is not an industry term, so I don't understand what that means, and I cannot answer your question as a result. Folks, if you have questions about the 1Mby1M program, please contact Irina Patterson, irina@1Mby1M.com, and she will be happy to answer your questions. Anybody else? Any other questions, comments? All right, we are going to adjourn. Thank you for coming today. I hope you enjoyed the session. Talk to you soon. Stay safe. Bye, everybody.